Riot tries to buy Bitfarms for $2.30 a share, which is rejected. We've got Bitcoin trading just under $70,000 again, and Sol is getting a bit interesting. I'm going to talk about all those things today, right now. So, first of all, Riot proposed over the weekend. So, this came out just this morning. This is like breaking news. Riot proposed to acquire Bitfarms for $2.30 a share for their bid to make the world's largest publicly traded Bitcoin miner, which was swiftly rejected by Bitfarms and has sent them soaring. Bitfarms is up to $2.22 just in the pre-market right now. That's an increase of what, over 9%, I want to say. Let me take a look real quick. Yep, that is an increase of 9.86% right now. Surprisingly, Riot is also up in the pre-market. They're up from 1037 to 1044 in the pre-market right now, up almost 1% in the pre-market despite that kind of failure to acquire. Now, personally, this tells me two different things. Well, one, Bitfarms being up 9% on this news means that Bitfarms is absolutely primed to fly off of any good news right now. That means that Bitfarms is too beaten down at the moment. And I'm telling you, now of course, this is not financial advice and not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. I'm telling you, based on this reaction to just the news that they won't be bought out, when they announce that they have clear leadership again, so that they've a truly established CEO again, I think we're going to see the price of the stock go up significantly more than 9%. Also, when they start to execute on their exahash goals, like if they achieve their 12 and they stay on track with their 12 exahash this quarter, if they get that new CEO, I think we're going to see significantly more than 9% very, very quickly off of that news. I mean, this is good news, but it's not like so good a news that, I would have expected a 10% bump off of. So people are absolutely starving for good news for Bitfarms, and that is clear. The other thing is that Riot clearly wanted to take out that ATM I mentioned last week in order to acquire some companies. Now, this is interesting that they offered 230 per share, because honestly, that's a bit insulting for Bitfarms, and we can see that that's a bit insulting because we're already almost to that price just in the pre-market off of them rejecting the offer. So that didn't seem like a serious bid in my opinion, and I don't know exactly what they were thinking. Maybe they were, well, I do know what they were thinking. They were thinking that they were leaderless at the moment. They're missing their CEO. There has been some drama surrounding Bitfarms lately, and they were thinking that they could potentially capitalize on that and, sharks circling and take them out. Now that clearly, this shows that Bitfarms is stronger than that, but the fact that Riot isn't falling off of this news in the morning, that's actually pretty interesting to me personally. So that shows a little bit of strength even with Riot, that people still believe in the Corsica infrastructure and in their ability to achieve their exahash goals, despite this bit of a flub in their face right now. So that's actually good because I hold both of these. So, I'd like to see them both go up. But it didn't seem like a serious bid. I didn't think Riot was in the business of acquiring other companies right now. Honestly, that was based on some interviews I'd seen with the CEO. It didn't seem like that was a thing that they were particularly interested in, especially with their big infrastructure projects in Texas. So clearly, there has been either um, they're not really telling us their whole plan, unlike what like CleanSpark is saying. I would have expected something like this to come from CleanSpark. Now, if Bitfarms in the future doesn't have a CEO still pretty soon, we might see the likes of like Mara or some other miners sniffing around, seeing like what types of prices they might be interested in. They know 230 is off the table, but is $3 off the table? Is 350 off the table? You know, at what point does Bitfarm say, yeah, okay, that's worth it? And Mara has considerably deeper pockets than Riot, so maybe now they know, well, 230 is not going to be an option, but maybe, maybe $3, maybe something else. We'll see. They know not to come with such insulting offers now, and that might have been a bid by Bitfarms. I don't think so. I think they probably want to continue to be their own miner, especially with the lofty goals that they've got. But we know that they're definitely going to be trading higher than 230 at some point soon. So that's pretty great. For Bitfarms, clearly it's not too much of a hit for Riot, considering that they're still going up in the morning. And that's, I mean, this we'll know in 2 minutes when the market opens here what's going to be going on there, and I'll cover that in a second. But let's go ahead and look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been flat for a couple of days now, so we've been trading really hard on this little flag down here. It's hard to say what's going to happen here. This is very indecisive, if you ask me. Right now, just since Saturday, it's just been flat, 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 flat. We'll have to see what this morning brings. Now, we do know that Monday was down, and that was a day when they would have been trading in Hong Kong because it was a holiday for the US, and the ETFs there would have been trading, and it ended up being a down day. So I don't know if that's a bad omen for today or not, but we do know that price came down 3 candles in a row. I was thinking maybe a 3-line strike might come through, which didn't happen. We came up just up to the top of the body of this red candle here on May 23rd and kind of hit that like a brick wall where we just peaked above 70 and got pushed back down. It does seem like the big market makers want to keep it just below 70 for now for a little while here. They're not ready for it to go much higher than that at this time. You can see the price is just being absolutely suppressed right now. Let's take a look at what the SMAs look like. Yeah, we might come back down to the 20-day, which would be at 66.2. By the time it gets there, it might be like 66.7 or 66.6. And bounce off that maybe one more time before we want to make a run. Because I mean, we definitely have the liquidity there after this rundown from 72,000 all the way down to 66,000. We definitely have the room to move up. It just seems that price doesn't want to quite do that just yet. And we're going to have to wait and see what's going to happen here. I would like to see it move up, though. That would be ideal. Let's take a look at Solana. So there has been, since the Ethereum ETF came out, there's been some talk about Solana. Now, one thing I want to point out is, if you remember my white line here down at 160.34, price came exactly to that. And I said that just last week, or was it the week before? I can't remember, but I did say that Sol would likely not go below 160. That would likely be the new floor for Sol for the time being. And lo and behold, it bounced exactly off of my line here and continued on. That's really nice. It is outside of this downtrend right now. We just need to hold out here in the high 160s, low 170s for another 2 days or so. And then I would be saying that we'll be looking to make another run at $200. And maybe this time we'll actually get it. But I'm pretty happy about this performance. I think 160 was a good floor there. I think it might continue to be a floor now. Now, if we break through it, we're going to come down to 148, 150 range. But I don't think that's likely to happen easily. I think that would require some pretty bad news to come through to see us drop that low on Sol right now, especially with all this good news swirling around with that with the Ethereum ETF, with suspicions that the next ETF is going to be a Solana ETF. There has been talks of an XRP ETF as well. I do hold that as well, but I'm not nearly as excited about that as I am about for the Sol ETF. If that were to happen, we would likely see. Now, if we saw a 20%, like an instant, like 25% pop on this one from the, let's say, well, from where it currently is, like 170, if we saw a 25% boost, like similar to what we saw, well, 24ish, okay, it would take us right back to our 210 highs from 4. That would take us right back to our highs. And then if we bled off from there about 10% or so, like let's say we went from 216 and we did like a 12%, that would take us back down to 190, and from there 80%. So let's say like with Bitcoin, it did 90% off of that, so it was about 180. I said about 180, and we did a 90% jump from there. Let's just we'd be looking at brand new all-time highs on a Solana. So I mean, that'd be pretty cool. Now, of course, none of that's happened yet. That's completely speculative. But just the rumors swirling around that Solana could be next, that's very interesting to me. And I do like that. Now, the only thing I don't like about this formation here is it looks similar to the previous cycle top where we got to 210, where there was this spike, this bit of a sell-off down, and then we came up and we didn't take out the previous high. If we cannot take out this high at 189 and do so soon, I would be looking for Sol to start to make another downturn back down towards the low 100s again, like or the mid 100s, not the low, the mid 100s again. It would be a similar sort of setup like this. Now we do need to see the next upswing. This next upswing needs to take out 188, 189 in order to be a continuation. Otherwise, we'll see something like this which would end up looking like a double top and could take us down. At this point, it wouldn't be, I don't think it'd be as bad as that. I think we'd probably come down to about 140 at the lowest if that were to happen. But that's what I'm looking at. We've got to see that upward momentum take us all the way up and above these two candles back here from May 20th and 21st and get above that 189 level. Now we're back into regular market hours. Let's see what's going on here. So Bitfarms is coming down now as the market is opening. It was up over 9%. Now it's getting a bit of a sell-off. It's starting to get a little bit dramatic here. We're up only 6%, while Riot is up actually 2%. I think the fact that they made a bid on such a big company as Bitfarms, that may have shown that they're in a financial area of strength, that they could actually make an offer like that, and that might be interesting. The offer, the interesting, the market there in Riot, and a bit of a turntables here with Bitfarms starting to come down after market open and Riot starting to go up. I think, I mean, that may have shown a level of financial strength that the market may have forgotten Riot had. Now, I don't think they necessarily have it, since it's going to be coming through future ATMs that haven't been voted on quite yet. They'll be voted on in a couple of weeks here. But that's interesting. That's an interesting dynamic to take note of. That Riot seems to be showing some greater strength than it showed in the pre-market, and Bitfarms is selling off a bit. Of course, I still am holding to my thesis that Bitfarms is just absolutely starving for good news, and good news will send it flying up. And I guess Riot is continue as long as it can show strength, it looks like it's going to be okay. So that's all I've got for you today. I just wanted to touch on that today, that big drama that came through on Riot and Bitfarms, and touch on Solana and show how it went exactly onto the technical floor there and bounced off of it. That was pretty exciting. And with that said, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a profitable day.